Thank you. Good evening, or rather good night at this point. Good morning, right? All right. I am Stephanie Bermudez. I have a daughter. I reside in West Hartford, Connecticut.
Gentlemen, can we just hear from this witness, please? I'm sorry.
That's okay. She's 2.5 years old. I was served with court papers in 2011. She was born October 14th of 2011. I was assaulted by her father when she was 3 weeks old. We were on our way home. Her and I reside in West Hartford. He reside in Windsor, Connecticut. And we were on our way home. We got into a dispute in the car about some photos. And he pulled the car over in West Hartford and assaulted me. He strangled me. I literally thought that night I was going to lose my life. And he was just going to leave with my daughter. He was arrested. DCF got involved. They aggrieved him. He was substantiated. He was placed on the central registry list for physical abuse, and he is no longer to work with children. I'm going to fast forward. I was, Rhonda Moore was assigned to my case as the guardian ad litem. With Rhonda, being a new mother, I was at the time 25 at this point. So being a new mom, I didn't know what to expect meeting with her. When I had gone to court, I was told by family relations that there was going to be a guardian ad litem appointed. I didn't know what that was because I wasn't even explained what a guardian ad litem was, what's the point of them. I had no idea. I was completely blindsided going into this. I had explained to the family relations officer, who was a woman, I said, listen, he assaulted me. The baby was in the car, and all I'm asking for is for supervised visits because my daughter was only 3 weeks old at the time. Here we are 6 months later. She's still an infant. She can't speak for herself. So, me being the protective mother, I wanted to make sure that she was going to be safe while she was with Dad. I wasn't saying no, Dad couldn't have his visits. I was all for that, but I just wanted to make sure that it was done safely, that my daughter was going to be brought back to me in one piece how she left my home. I was told no by the family relations officer that is not going to happen. So we went in front of Judge Orlear, who was the judge on this case, and I explained to her what was going on, and she said, I am going to grant a guardian ad litem. At the time, I didn't know who. A couple weeks later, I got a letter in the mail saying it was Rhonda Moore, and I had to call her to schedule a meeting with her. I go in. She was very unprofessional, very nasty to me, did not shake my hand. I come to find out while I'm in the meeting with her that she not only met with my daughter's father, but she met with my daughter's father's grandmother, which I was billed for that. By the way, I have her bills with me because I'm going to, give it to you guys. I was upset about that because I felt like, why is Rhonda meeting with Grandma? What does Grandma have any business with what's going on between me and the father? So I already felt there that I was being set up by Rhonda. That was very unprofessional on her part. You meet with Grandma before you meet with Mom? Does that make any sense? I ended up leaving the meeting. I felt very uncomfortable. And when I told her I don't feel comfortable here. I feel like I am literally on trial. Like I'm the one, I'm the aggressive here, the one that's done wrong when I've done nothing wrong. I'm the victim here, and you are interrogating me like I'm some monster. So I told her that I'm not going to see her and I will never meet with her unless I have legal representation. And that's how I left the meeting. I never called her back to reschedule another meeting. Then I was appointed by legal aid. Linda Allard, actually, was the one assigned to my case. I spoke to Linda and told Linda what was going on, and she transferred the case over to Ramona Espinoza, who I was found, it was her fault that I was found in contempt. When I went to court, I was found in contempt for her negligence. So I fired Ramona. I went with another attorney who got me a little far in the case, but not where I thought would be fair, because he was, a rookie at this, still young. I then hired another attorney who I've been dealing with since. I was reassaulted by my daughter's father on Father's Day of 2013. Judge Orlear was the one that referred that we exchange my child in front of the West Hartford Police Department, or rather inside. I was assaulted by my daughter's father, with my daughter present, standing right by me, in front of the West Hartford Police Department, where you're supposed to feel the safest. My daughter looked at me when that assaulted me and started crying, because he literally took his head. I was talking to him. You know, there was a disagreement because Dad was taking advantage of the court order that we had in place, the agreement. He would just show up whenever he wanted. He was never on time dropping the baby off. He was 30, 40 minutes late. You know, the list just goes on and on. And I just got tired of it. You know, I got tired. I just wanted my daughter on time just to go about my business. And I literally had to sit at the police station for 30 minutes that day. I was furious. You're supposed to be there at 7, not 7:30, not 7:40. And if he's running late, he was supposed to contact me. Every time Dad ran late, I never got a phone call from Dad, ever. So the day that he assaulted me, he was arrested. He was arrested. I was asked what happened. I was allowed to go home. I ended up with a busted lip, my top lip. I had meat and blood everywhere, and I had 2 loose teeth due to the argument. What really got me was when I went to court and I told Judge O'Lear what happened. Judge O'Lear asked my attorney behind chambers if I could go to criminal court and modify the protective order. That's the second protective order that was put in place so that Dad and I could have, interact with one another. Why? Why? You know, I asked my attorney, I said, why would a judge who is supposed to be here and is supposed to be looking for the best interests of my daughter ask me to go to criminal court and modify the current protective order when he assaulted me again? And then she's going to look at me in my face and tell me that what's going on across the street has nothing to do with in family court when my daughter was there. My 2-year-old daughter seen her father assault me. It just doesn't make any sense to me as to why this has to continue going on and on, you know?
Did the police make a second DCF referral since your daughter was there?
They did everything. Yeah. You know, the DCF got involved. They investigated. They did everything. They found Dad at fault again. And none of this is being held up in family court. And that's what I can't understand. You know, I'm not being spiteful here. You know, I gave Dad his chance to be involved in the baby's life. I didn't stop him. I didn't try to prevent anything. You know, my daughter was 6 months at the time. Baby could barely even speak. Why in the world are they appointing a GAL? What in the world is she's going to get out of my child? What can she possibly recommend for my child in court when she's 6 months? Absolutely nothing. You know how many times Rhonda met with my daughter? None. Rhonda seen my daughter in a car seat when I had to go meet with her. And that was the last time Rhonda seen my daughter besides the day that I had to take her to court with me because I didn't have anyone to take care of my child. This is just 2.5 years I've been going through this. Dad has unsupervised visits. I don't know where my daughter's whereabouts are when Dad is with my child because Dad goes to family court and consistently lies about his address and where he lives. This has just been aggravating me. This is aggravation after aggravation. I've paid Rhonda Mora literally over $3,000. For what? For what? Has anything been accomplished? Absolutely not. What she recommended was that we have joint physical custody, that we share the child, and that we have to make co-parenting decisions. Now you tell me with a full protective order in place, okay, I don't even have a proper phone number for Dad, let alone the address, and you want me to co-parent with this monster who can't even think level-headed, who can't even be rational when the baby's there? He's used foul language in front of her. And what's even more disturbing, my little girl looks at me yesterday and tells me, Mommy, Daddy hit you? 2.5 years old, and my daughter's telling me, Mommy, Daddy hit you? Does that make, I mean, my 2-year-old daughter telling me this. You know how that makes me feel inside? I am the primary caregiver. I am everything to this little girl. I am her number one, and I will always be number one in her life. And I got to hear my little girl remind me that daddy assaulted me in front of her on Father's Day.
Thank you so much, not only for waiting, but for sharing your story with us. I know it wasn't easy. Are there any questions from the task force?
I just need to clear something up. I work under a grant from the Violence Against Women's Office, and I do intakes for Interval House, the Network Against Domestic Violence, and Prudence Crandall. I do intakes. When you meet with me, I am not your attorney. I'm doing an intake. So I did an intake. I bring my intakes back to the office, and then an attorney gets assigned.
I didn't even get to meet with you. I spoke to you on the phone. I didn't physically meet with you.
Well-
I spoke to you on the phone, and then my case was sent to someone else. So I don't know what you do. I just know that I was told that you were appointed to represent me in court.
Okay, so I
So
do
I don't
intakes.
know what happened after
And then
that.
after that, my manager assigns the case. So Ramona must have been assigned to you by my manager.
Okay,
You
well-
weren't, I never was assigned to a
I mean,
case. I represented
you know, you deal with so many people, you don't know who does what. You know, you don't know what profession this person is supposed to be doing and what the next person is supposed, you don't know. You don't
Okay.
know.
Representative Gonzalez, you had a question?
Yes, I was going to ask that question. You know, if you knew why Linda Allard transferred your case, and I think that she kind of answered that question. But can you tell what happened was Ramona Espinosa? What was your problem with that?
Well, what happened with Ms. Espinoza was that we had met with family relations, and at the time, I was responsible for getting my daughter from my home to wherever the drop-off location was. I explained to Judge Orlear about 1,000 times that at the time I did not have a vehicle. So how do you expect me, mom, okay, to put the baby in the stroller and walk her to wherever I have to go in cold weather, in hot weather? Does that make any sense to you? No. That's what I explained to Judge Orlear. So while we were in family relations, Ramona asked the family relation officer, is it okay if I pick up and drop off the baby? Meaning Ramona. So Ramona was going to act as the third party. Take my child to the West Hartford police station in exchange with that. That was, the family relations officer said, yeah, that was fine. But I was found in contempt because Ramona wasn't always there to deliver my child to the dad. So because of someone else's actions, I was blamed for that, even though that wasn't my fault. You know, my child was available for the visits, but I didn't have anyone to get her to and from the visits. I had no one. So I was found in contempt for that. Not only was I found in contempt for Maddie missing visits, but I was also found in contempt because I went to go to my brother's graduation, who graduated from the Marines down in South Carolina. I had gave them months in advance notice, and I was still found in contempt for that.
So you gave Ramona Espinosa a month.
I gave Ramona, I gave the court system, which I got the okay. I want to say it was Judge Presley that I was allowed to go. And then when we went back to court, we were supposed to go in front of Judge Carbonell, who's no longer there. And I see Rhonda she got up, walked out of the courtroom, and disappeared. 10 minutes later, she comes back into the courtroom and says, we're meeting in front of Judge O'Lear. So I feel like she has something to do with me being found in contempt. Because why would you go and we're arranged to meet in front of Judge Carbonell, but when she comes back, she's saying that now we have to meet in front of Judge O'Lear. Come to find out, her and Judge O'Lear are best buddies. She doesn't like me. I feel like Rhonda has been very biased towards me, very. I don't feel like I've ever been given a fair chance as a mother to explain my story and explain the hell that my daughter's father put me through, you know, and I'm still going through it. I've never been married to the man, okay? I've never lived with the man. It was casual dating, and it was that. I was willing to give him his parenting time, but he's been very manipulative. He's abused the court system, okay? He goes and lies, saying God knows what to his lawyer. And then there's another contempt being filed. So this is the crap that I have to deal with literally every day. Do you honestly think that it's fair that I have to live and worried about losing my child to a monster who's an unfit father, who has no business being around my daughter? You honestly think that's fair that I have to literally be nervous about what's the next step I'm going to take because I don't know if I'm going to do something to lose my child because of him? because of the manipulator and the liar he's been. I don't think since we've been in court that man has ever telling the truth. And what's sad about it is every time he goes to court, he's lying on record about where he lives. And the judge just sits back and doesn't do anything about it.
Did they ever sentence him on the assault cases?
No. As a matter of fact, the prosecutor in the case was just removed because he was dragging his feet. He kept continuing the court case after court case, continuing. There's evidence that he assaulted me. I have pictures, okay? Not only do I have pictures, there was 2 witnesses there that seen him assault me. I didn't even get to defend myself, okay? And he still was granted unsupervised visits with my daughter. And my child is terrified of the man. And that's what breaks my heart. Because she tells me every time I gotta drop her off, Mommy, I don't wanna go. Mommy, I don't wanna go. I wanna stay with you. And what do I have to do? I have to fight back my tears, put on my big girl pants and say, you know what, Maddie, it's okay.
Is he still facing 2 assault charges or 1?
He's facing felony charges, not just 1. He's facing about 4 felony charges, and 2 of them are risk of injury to a child. And he still is allowed to see my daughter. And that's what aggravates me. That aggravates me the most because I have been a victim of domestic violence. I was smart enough to get out when I seen the signs. And it's sad that I have to question whether I did the right thing for my daughter, whether I did the right thing for me. If it was actually worth me leaving this abusive relationship, because now looking what I'm going through. I literally have to fear whether I'm going to lose her or not because I left him. These are the consequences a mother has to deal with because she wants to live her life. She wants to see her child grow. I want a better life for my daughter. You think that I wanted to be in a relationship with this man who's been abusive and I know he was abusive? I didn't want my daughter to be raised around that. And because as a mother, I made that decision. That was my right as a mother. And I'm being crucified for that. I'm being crucified. Judge O'Lear has been very, very vocal about how she doesn't like me. That's not her place to make a decision whether she likes me or not. I don't go to court for her to judge me or for her to say whether she likes me or not. That's not her job. Her job is not to give an opinion about me. Her job is to give an opinion about the safety of my child. That's what she's there for. That's what you guys are paying her there. Not for her to be vocal and say, oh, I don't like Mom. Why you don't like Mom? You have no valid reason not to like me. None whatsoever. All I'm doing is being a good mother and taking care of my child. I've lost my job. I was employed at Jefferson Radiology as a mammography facilitator, and I lost my job because this man would go to my job, would call me at work, harassing me. It's been 3 years since I've been without a job. My unemployment was just recently cut. And guess what? They lowered his child support to $71 a week. That's what I have to live off of. Can you believe that? This man just recently got married, paid for a whole wedding, beautiful wedding, and he's giving me $71 in child support. And not only am I getting the $71, Judge Presley granted him to claim my daughter for tax exemptions. Okay? And this is the stuff that I have to deal with. And I know I'm not alone in this, but I am tired of being this man's punching bag. I am tired of him thinking that he could assault me whenever he wants. I'm tired. I'm tired. I didn't have my daughter to be going through this. I'm a single mother trying to stand on one leg, okay, and trying to deal with all of this. Mind you, I'm paying for my attorney, a private attorney, out of my pocket. I saved $8,000 for my daughter's college fund, and guess what? I'm down to nothing. Not a damn penny because of him. He's getting away with everything, and that's what's frustrating, that this is my life. This is the life that I have to wake up and face reality every day. Every day, put a smile on my face just to make sure that my daughter's happy. I'm miserable. I am so miserable. I am tired. I'm only 27 years old, and I feel like I am in a 50-year-old's body. I'm tired. I am so tired. I get no help. And then I got to get up in the morning and try my best to provide and live for my daughter. I try my best, but I'm tired. I'm so tired. And it's just sad because you know what? He wasn't born here. He wasn't a United States citizen. I am. I was born in the United States. I pay taxes here, you know? And someone to come from Jamaica and just terrorize me and torture me literally every day. I'm tired. Every time I get an email from a lawyer, I feel sick to my stomach. Sick because I don't know what this man is claiming. What's going to happen next? What? I have no one standing behind me when I'm in court. No one. I tell Judge O'Lear what are my concerns. She doesn't care. She doesn't care. And that's what's very unfortunate. That you got to have hardcore proof in order for them to believe you. And the thing is, I've been assaulted twice. I have pictures. I have pictures of everything. But that's not even held up in family court. I filed paperwork. I filed an emergency ex parte motion, and guess what? Was denied. Why was my ex parte motion denied when the dad assaulted me right in front of my daughter? My daughter seen everything. As a matter of fact, my daughter had my blood on her shirt. That's how close she was standing to me when he hit me. Okay?
Does DCF, if they found that there was abuse, has DCF gone as an advocate to family court on your behalf?
They gave Rhonda, as a matter of fact, Dante Rabb was the investigator in my first case. He personally brought Rhonda Mora his notes, the case, and everything. Guess what? Ask me what she did with the paperwork. Nobody knows because the judge never got her hands on it. Okay? DCF worker bringing this to Rhonda Mora, who is the guardian ad litem for my daughter, never presented that paperwork that the DCF worker brought into court to Judge O'Lear. Judge O'Lear never seen that paperwork. Okay? Never seen it.
Ms. Bermudez, did I understand you say you were found in contempt for
Yes.
for not taking your daughter to visits? And did I understand you correctly that your attorney was transporting her to the visits?
Yes.
Is
Yes,
that-
she was.
Were you with her when you were with the transporting, or?
No, I would stay home because
Okay.
there was a standing protective order. So even though he was ordered to stay away from me, I just stayed home just to avoid, all the, just
Right.
everything that's been going on. I just couldn't be bothered.
Sure.
So I offered to stay home while Miss Espinoza would travel my daughter to and from the police station.
And was the judge aware that she was doing the transportation and that was the problem, which is why you were?